way it's executed isn't the wrong way.
Good in theory, really bad in execution.
Or even maybe the execution is okay if there's a matter of understanding. Does that make sense? Like, does discipline matter if who's being disciplined doesn't understand why they're being disciplined?
Yeah, like
does that make sense?
When he was screamed at for the toothpaste, he thought because he's just eating toothpaste.
Which is not good.
I understand, but it's the same thing though.
But that's not really what he was getting in trouble for at that point.
Yeah.
So
But
there's
he
a
didn't understand.
Yeah, there's a misunderstanding. So I think I'm kind of with you, Julio, that like, okay, maybe his intent is in the right. He what he wants. He wants the kid to be disciplined. He wants the kid, you know, I'm saying the kid Christmas, right? He wants him to be religious. He wants all these things, and that's okay, right? But does Christmas understand that's what he wants from him?
No.
I don't think so.
Does Christmas understand he's getting in trouble for watching them have sex as opposed to the toothpaste? We'll put this way, does Christmas even know that he's watching at that point?
I think he's oblivious to his surroundings. He's just kind of going through the motions.
Yeah, with his stepfather, I think he just sees him as a person who's just trying to be controlling and overpowering him. He doesn't see him for what he is, what he's trying to do for him. He gave him home, gave him food. I know he's a little bit extreme, but he sees it as,
And then we also have to talk about, I mean, if he was willing to, like, risk himself by selling his cow to get that suit, was it to go to the dance?
Which was to get what?
So we see him turning of age, right? Like, well, maybe not that, but, like, he's defying his father.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it comes to this point where it's like he's matured kind of past the point of his father. And it all comes to a head whenever he hits him with the chair, you know. Because even with the shot, him going back there, like his father specifically told him, never go to this place unless, like, you're with me, you know.
But he also says, like, I'll never come back here, so...
Yeah, he's like, I'll never come back here, but it's not because he told me not to, I think, is, like, basically what...
Yeah, but he's like, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to.
Yeah. Not because my father told me not to, but just because.
He does, right? He goes to.
Yeah, but then he goes back there like a page or two late, like a couple of days later. So he's contradicting himself.
And why would he be willing to like tell his father such a stupid lie? Like, oh, the cow ran away. Like obviously, like his father's gonna find out. Then you gotta like look for that.
And he doesn't keep up the lie either. Like, he gives them real easy. Right? Like, but then when
he's like, really?
Look at this right here.
Whenever they get to the end of the fence, like, I sold it, dude.
Yeah.
When they went to the school, he says, "Why I committed murder for her, I even stole for her." On page 217, I think that's after he killed his dad.
His dad stole from his mother?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Where's the bottom?
But then I guess that's just saying, like when I read it, I was like, well, maybe she died. But I was like, well, maybe he doesn't really know. He's just assuming. But dang, how hard must he have hit him though? If they actually think they killed him. Well, like.
Or like if you hit someone on like the temple or like anywhere in the head, there's like a huge increase in chance that they might die. Like, ever heard of people who get in like fist fights outside school and someone accidentally gets hit like in this area? You die.
I've even heard of like with old people that fall, they hit their head on the curb and that's it.
The head is like the most like sensitive thing on your body, so just a little bit of damage and you're gone.
I'll wear a helmet.
Well, let's answer this. Who's the her that he's talking about in this passage?
Yeah. The prostitute. Prostitute. So like, why does he love her so much?
What is he?
So to speak?
Why
does he care about
that
her?
she has such big hands?
Yeah.
Where's find that passage?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because it was telling about the big hands, and I'm like,
It's like the first time you went to go get pie. He says, "When you like."
Yeah, big hands. But she's really small. She's got big hands.
Is that like?
It kind of reminds me of Esme when he was like really examining her, and it's just like, oh, and her watch didn't fit, and her dress looked this way, and yada yada yada.
Big hands.
Are you thinking
The
about
process. The processing, man.
I don't know, it's kind of like a
They
mice
just
and
get
men
a
when
new
the guy's
job.
wearing the glove is like what I went back to. Like when the guy's wearing the glove, right? And of mice and men, I fill with Vaseline. I'm like, is it something like that? Is it related in that way? I don't know. Why are you mentioning her having big hands? Where does this go?
Maybe he has a problem with women having masculine features or like masculine traits. Because he always feels like he's above women, so he also takes notice to how independent and strong his burden is, and he didn't like that either.
Well, there's that passage where he says, I think it's regarding his burden, right? That says like, well, she was the man and I was the woman.
Yeah,
he
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
like that.
And it's this, but again, okay, and I think this plays into the concept of a lot of things we talked about, like, what's the role of identity? What does it mean to be black or white? What does it mean to be male, female? I think maybe part of you guys are on the right thing.
Confused about that as well. Like, men need to do this, women can't do this. They're like super like sexist, right? Confused, he's troubled.
I mean, the guy's not exactly the nicest to women. I mean, that's putting it very lightly in this book.
I feel like
Or even guys.
People, I mean, yeah, right?
People.
I feel like in this section especially, he's trying to show the difference between someone developing because of their surroundings and developing based on their own devices. And I feel like right here, he's wanting us to question whether or not he's become who he is today because his father, or because he's chosen to go that path. Because he's kind of showing him to be more like his father. As much as he hated him, he's starting to be like him.
Which is not genetic, right? I mean, I don't know that Faulkner would have had the word genetic, like, but it's not in his blood to be these
No.
things. It's part of his environment that's being established.
Yeah. But at the same time, he also had the really compassionate stepmother. So you can't help but wonder, did all of this happen because of his surroundings, or did he partially choose to be the way he is? Because there was that kind
There
of
was the other
softer
choice.
aspect.
His mother was willing
That
to
was
get
allowed
affection.
to.
chose to be.
I think there's like a half and half. It
Which
wasn't
goes back to the
entirely
quote.
his environment.
Yeah, you guys are awesome for picking up on that. I think it goes back, we started at some point in this conversation with this, remember, you didn't give it to me.
Yeah.
Right? I think that line, that begins to understand when we put all these pieces in there, it's like, okay, well, that makes sense. It's like it's a choice as opposed to a destiny, right? With
And then it
whatever
just,
you want to call that.
and then it kind of like relates to the idea of like he doesn't want women to be above him. Like
Yeah.
if she would have given him the money, then that means that he
Would have been taking.
would have been
advantage.
taking,
Something from a woman.
Yeah.
Been getting help from a woman.
or even like later
He
on,
had no problem
like
taking the cat from his dad, but he can't take money from his mom.
yeah, like the two on page 236 when he's with Miss Bird and he's like, I'll show you. Like he does the whole, well, I'm gonna show her type thing. Like you're not above me.
I think part of it is choosing to be this way.
Yeah.
For sure.
So can we talk before we get like that whole relationship? Because the power and control what's the deal with Miss Burden? What's their relationship?
It's really distant. And it's like based off of, he gives her something, she gives him something kind of deal. Kind of like a prostitute, but she's feeding him for him to come into her bedroom at night occasionally. It's kind of one of those ordeals.
He doesn't storm into there and rapes her. He doesn't. She's
I
not
think that he was coming in
No, she wasn't-
occasionally,
she did
and then
not
one night he
accept
did it.
She didn't accept it.
Yeah. I
She
think
didn't
she was
say
waiting for him
anything
a couple
either. She was just
times.
She did not resist.
Yeah, it's this weird like.
Wasn't she old?
Yeah.
Yeah, what is it? She says she's
like
in
41.
Yeah, she's in her 40s, which could have been anything from 40 to 49, and then she says she's 41, but he's still like maybe she's 49, right? Like,
But then, how old is he at the time?
He was like
He's a weird little kid, man.
almost
He's in his 30s.
probably.
He's almost 30.
Yeah.
Oh shoot.
I'd say
come on.
20s, 30s.
And I was thinking like
15.
20s.
Yeah, I think mid-20s is where I don't know that it states it exactly. The point though I think is he's much younger.
Yeah.
Like he's much younger.
And that in itself is a taboo because usually it's the other way around.
Oh, maybe he killed her because. No, wait. I don't know. Wait.
So yeah, you're right. The taboo of like, you know, usually older guys go with younger women, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Especially
he's
now.
now with a cougar before the idea of cougar, right? Okay, there's also too like he's like busting in the room and then like
Wait,
raping
literally?
her.
Wait.
Yeah, literally at some point. But he's like raping.
Question mark.
If she doesn't resist,
It's kind of like a taking it by force. I'm the man. I do what I want kind of thing. Because he has that mentality. That's why he strikes women. He does what he wants.
She's
Yeah.
not, she's very passive. Like she's just like
That ain't no lie.
goes with the flow. You know.
Now,
Like, are you gonna rape me? Why not? Just go ahead and rape me.
Why not?
I don't understand what.
Well, put it this way, right? Like, what does she think, or what does Christmas think of himself being?
Higher than her.
Okay, so it's this power control, but she's manipulated the situation to get him to do this, right? Or agreed to it, or however you want to say this. And then on top of it, too, but he's black, right? Or sees himself. So isn't that like the stereotype of a black man raping a white woman? Which is again another one of those taboos.
There's
Kill a
like so many
mockingbird kind of
taboos here.
ordeal.
So the next thing we do, we're gonna hear about incest next.
Like,
Oh,
look
God, I
at
hope
this
not.
here on page 225. He's like, sometimes he would remember how he had once tricked or teased white men into calling him a Negro in order to fight for him, to beat them or be beaten. Now he taunts the Negro who called him white, and then he says he lived with Negroes shunning white people. You know, he's just like back and forth with it, like, who are you?
Yeah. Well, I think
Why am I black like
that's part of the question. Who am I?
Everyone's just like not accepting him, really, like even the white people and the black people. So like, where do I fit in society?
I mean, that's how it was back then, though. I mean, they can't really tell that he's black. People don't know that he's black, except like the close people. But back then, it was bad to be black, but it was worse to be mixed. Because if you're black, I mean, black people will accept you. But if you're mixed, nobody cares about you. So that's what Ingrid. He feels like nobody cares for him.
But look at the top. Yeah, you're exactly right. Look at the top of 225. That was while he was still, and comparatively speaking, south. Because one night it did not work. He rose from the bed and told the woman, right? So this is random woman that he was a Negro. You are? She said. I thought maybe you were just another wop or something. Okay, now that's a slur. But what's she saying? Wop.
Womp?
What is a womp?
Wop. It's a slur for an Italian. Without papers is the idea. But what she's saying is like, I just thought you were Italian or something.
So he does have some features.
He's been called foreign. She says maybe you're Italian. I mean,
What is he?
No one knows.
He's a wombo combo.
doesn't matter. Again, doesn't matter.
I don't think it does.
For us, it doesn't, but
But in these
most
situations,
characters
it
it
does
does.
matter.
But
It
does it
really
really
does.
though? Because I mean,
Yeah.
if it was
When
more
we look at
obvious,
it from
then
here,
it
it's
would
just
matter.
like it shouldn't matter, but does it matter? Yes, it is. Well, at least for his life, he feels like he's just like,
I'll leave it. Yeah, there's so much to play with this, but I'll leave it with this concept. Like, you know, think about whatever race you are. If somebody was to call you another race or to put you with another race of people, would it bother you? Yeah, I think it maybe would, right?
But why?
because it's not who you are, maybe. Kind of like if someone kept calling you a name
because
that
you have
wasn't
like
your
that
name.
pride, you know, like, oh, I'm Spanish, or I'm this or I'm that. It's like if you call him, oh, are you French? It's like, no, I'm not. I'm not French.
Because
Or I'm not
we kind
foreign.
of define ourselves of how
It's
well
like
we
that,
look
like national identity, you know, like it's just like